The reason this topic resonates with me, I think most of you know that I'm from Detroit, and it's got its issues, and I just happened to be good enough to get into what at the time was it was the best school in Detroit. And you hit on something, you mentioned, or maybe you said it, my school had zero tolerance for fighting.
Is it public or private?
It was public school, but it was competitive entry, and they had a waiting list of people to get in, and so they were not going to tolerate people who were, if you couldn't work out your differences, they didn't even need to.
That's right.
You didn't need to be there. But awesome education. So I know the value of education. I know what it meant to me escaping Detroit. It really did. It made all the difference. The difference in my outlook, and part of it is, as I was listening to you talk about visiting some of these schools, I visited some schools too, and I always make a point to go to where the so-called bad kids are and talk to them, because nobody is talking to them. But even worse than that, no one's talking to the kids on the West End and just raising their expectations. A lot of this is I think George Bush put it best, the soft bigotry of low expectations.
That's right.
Great phrase. And I know exactly what he's talking about, because I could see that a little bit in some of the adults around me when I was coming up. But because I had a great support system in school, I was able to transcend all that. So I know that, it's almost criminal. When you say that 19 out of 27, the worst school districts are in here in Louisville, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Doesn't make any sense.
We should see people picketing for that or marching for that, because every minute that the adults spend bickering about this issue of school choice is a minute that the kids never get back. They never get this time back. That's what I fear, and I know they just get further and further behind. Had a nephew in the Detroit school system, struggled. He kind of struggled. Actually, his mom made him repeat the 5th grade because they were just going to pass him on. And my sister had the fortitude to say, no, he hasn't learned what he was supposed to learn. And this is the other thing that goes on, where people are being passed, and maybe they shouldn't, or maybe they just aren't learning what they not only are they not learning what they should be learning, but they aren't even at the point where we can start talking about careers and just really dreaming big. And I want them to get to that point where I was dreaming big, despite being poor.
Amen.
Despite being poor and black and living in the inner city, I was still dreaming big, and a huge part of that was due to education. It was being able to read. And when you say, it breaks my heart when I hear that kids aren't reading.
That's right.
Because if you can read, you can do anything. You can teach yourself. It expanded my universe, and I know what they're missing. I know what they're missing, and we must do something. We absolutely must do something. And so, what did you call it? Academic genocide. Wow, that's a powerful phrase, but that's in essence what it is, because those kids fall behind, and they continue to fall behind, even as adults, and it colors everything. It affects everything. It's kind of like where you start, where you're starting at with your salary. Well, if your bonuses are based on your salary and your raises are based on your salary, that core salary is critical, and so the core education is critical, because everything else builds on that. And so, yes, Governor Bevin and I are totally behind school choice, sooner rather than later.